14 champions of the Alliance Racing Championship Series on the hunt for $200. 6 races to claim the money. Green flag is out, and we are racing at Daytona. Clean and green after one lap. Cody Pennell on the outside in that black 2.8 Mustang, and behind him the number 2 of Thomas Andrews, Season 4 Thursday Night Thunder champion, and then in the magenta number 13 supercar. That one belongs to John Smeal, one of our more recent ARC's champions. He chose to drive a Ford. More Fords than Holdens in this Ford versus GM competition. This is our 4th time doing this, and I can't remember if every year we've run this at Daytona, but I can understand why we do if we have. It is a sight to see. Now, don't adjust your phone. We are having some sort of frame rate issues. We're going to get that fixed here. Don't worry about it. But for now, we want to enjoy these cars that are moving at an incredible pace. And if this is your first time watching AROC, AROC standing for the ARC's Race of Champions, lots of acronyms, but the only important thing to know is each one of the drivers in this field are champions of the Alliance Racing Championship Series, and they open the 6th Race of Champions with a 50-lap sprint at Daytona International. You're going to see a lot of drafting, and it's going to look pretty ridiculous because these cars have such a massive wing. They're going to punch such a huge hole in the air, and by the time they catch up to each other, the slingshots are going to be just brutal. Check this out. Let's go on board here with the 4.8 of Tristan Catania. Catania in that purple Ford. We'll say dark purple because there's another purple machine in this race. The 74 of Jeremy Brio. Would you call that mauve? It's another Ford Mustang. Brio now to the inside of the, we'll say, Dayglow Orange. Jimmy Kerr III. He chose a GM product, and he also sits ahead of Briley Wright. He runs in 11th right now, and drivers pretty much just trying to figure this race out, figure the car out. They've had 50 minutes of practice, 2 laps of single car qualifying, and Moldy Muskrat in the chat with his input. Catania still leads the inside line. Elrich George in that 4-0. The silver Mustang to the inside, and it's all Fords at the front, but for one rebellious Holden Commodore. Thomas Andrews in that blue number 2, just trying to get maybe some sort of side draft. Who has any idea? Let's go on board with him. Andrews in the 2, trying to push his way to the front. He now leads the outside line. He sits ahead of John Smeal, the SRX Series champion, in that fuchsia Mustang. And then behind him, Donald Ray. Ray in the Holden Commodore. He favors a GM product. I'd call that Periwinkle, that machine right there. And the Periwinkle Holden also being followed by another Holden, Jimmy Kerr the third in that 7.5. They're trying to form some sort of GM train at the front of this race. Jeremy Brio in the 7.4. He's now trying to make some way on the outside. And again, drivers will make it approximately 25 to 30 laps on one fuel run. Dale Markowski hanging out at the back. Tommy Reynolds, a DNS, did not start this race. And the pride of Brooklyn, New York, Nick Pressey in that number 94, just taking his time at the back. Grandma Jeannie wishing Noah Belleville was in this race. And you know what, Grandma Jeannie? I wish he was in this race too. I do love myself some Noah Belleville. Excellent driver and could be Thursday Night Thunder champion. That's kind of what everybody's just got written on their cards there. As you see the lights turn on at Daytona. And soon enough, these supercars will be turning on their lights too. Tristan Catania trying to turn on lights of a different kind. He's sparking there, trying to put two wheels below the yellow line. And there go the lights on the V8 supercars. "11 laps into this 50-lap dash. Cody Pennell in that black 2.8. He leads the inside line. Cody Pennell in the 2.8, second in line on the inside, and now it's Holden to the front in this race. GM now leading. John Smeal in that 13, the magenta Ford. He wants to go to the outside by way of Donald Ray, giving him a shove to the front. And now the undisputed leader, Smeal, wants to cut to the inside, and Thomas Andrews has to lift. Andrews still strong on that left-hand side, and Cody Pennell just behind him. One of the champions from the Only Short Tracks series, Josh Gaiman. He's in that rose-colored number 61 Ford. Davy Jones in the house, the pride of Orange County, California, cheering on for one Cody Pennell. You don't see him racing a lot, but $200 will motivate a man. Over 6 races. I haven't worked out the math. Somebody that can do math in the chat, put that in your calculator, what 200 divided by 6 is, and tell me what that is per race for winning the ARC's championship. I think we mentioned earlier, before the lights came on, that there have always been more Fords running in this race than Holdens. A Ford has never won this championship. Fords have outnumbered GMs in all 3 iterations of this series. I won't say 2-1, but it's pretty close. And Ford has yet to win the ARC's Race of Champions. Davy Jones comes up with 33.3 repeating. So what are we talking here? Just 33 and a third. 33 for winning a race. You know, for what, a 50-lap dash? $200 at the end of 6 races is it's pretty good money, I would say. Thomas Andrews takes lead. And now John Smeal takes the lead, and that's what it's going to be all night long. 35 laps to go from Daytona International. Smeal on the outside, Donald Ray still urging him forward. At the front for now, it's the Ford of John Smeal, but these guys have to think about pit stops. Again, they're not going to go more than 30 laps on fuel. The tires may last that long, but the gas might not. They have to come in, they have to slow down. Have they practiced pit stops with these cars? If they haven't, this is going to be a problem. Could even be our first caution of the race. Incoming pit stops in the first round of the ARC's Race of Champions. How are you going to handle it? That's the question. How will you deal? 17 laps complete, and it is still and always will be Ford versus GM at the front of this competition. Cody Pennell looks like he's got some scrapes on the left-hand side of that Ford, but what are you going to do? The 48 of Tristan Catania stays messing around with that yellow line. keeps on putting 2 wheels below. He's playing with fire. When it comes to the end of the race, will the guy behind him lift? There's only one way to find out. We got to get there first. 18 laps complete. 19 underway of the scheduled 50. Thomas Andrews just ahead of Cody Pennell, who's losing control. Tristan Catania behind him. Pick your favorite color. Who do you got? Oh, there's contact. 3, 4 wide. There's the crash. 2, 3, 4, 5 cars involved. And right before the green flag pit stops, caution comes out. Thomas Andrews involved. Jimmy Kerr the third involved. Donald Ray missing a front bumper. Josh Gaiman the same. Dale Markowski made it through without a scrape. Let's go back and see what happened here. Lap number 20. They went 3, 4 wide, and this started a long time ago. Let's see what happened with the Josh Gaiman. This is coming to lap number 20. Oh, maybe netcode. You saw Donald Ray just came up there. Oh, there's contact earlier. Have a look at this. Cody Pennell in that 2.8. He's going to be to the inside. Jeremy Brio. Looks like he opens the door. Maybe Thomas Andrews just gets out of control. So it's Andrews into Pennell. Pennell into Gaiman. And this is where it all goes upside down. Donald Ray looks like he's just trying to avoid this as well. But run that back. Was there daylight between Gaiman and Ray? Did they make contact here? It's really hard to tell. I don't know if Gaiman's already in motion. Just one of them super Speedway racing deals, I think. By this time, Thomas Andrews is already trying to recover. He doesn't even know Donald Ray is there. Jimmy Kerr, collateral damage. Dale Markowski avoids all of this. Nick Pressey makes it through. And caution number 1 comes out. Cody Pennell leads the ARC's Race of Champions 21 laps into this race. We're going to take a short break. We're going to get everything figured out here. And we're glad you're here with us. Don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a drink and a snack. I'm going to do the same. And we're going to be back for more V8 supercars at iRacing's Daytona. How cool is that? Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 60 seconds. We're ready for more V8 Supercar racing at the World Center of Racing. Jeremy Brio and John Smeal will line up left to right on the front row. Brio in the purple, Smeal in the magenta. It's Fords all the way down until you get to Briley Wright in the 8th position, repping for GM. Brio with control of the field. We're going to take the restart to close lap 23. 24 laps underway. Let's go racing. Josh Gaiman just coming out of the pits. If there was ever a better illustration for Ford's outnumber GMs in AROC, this would be it. If you take a look at just the left side of your screen, the first 8 drivers, all Fords. Then you go to Briley Wright here, all by his lonesome in his GM, but now he's joined by some friends. Isn't that sweet? He's got Donald Ray, who is 8 seconds behind him, James Kerr III, who is in 11th, I think 1 lap off the pace, and Thomas Andrews, who's in 12th. Josh Gaiman is then the lonely Ford in 13th with no draft partners, so it is the top 8, all Fords, and I remind you, a Ford has never won this championship. Tristan Catania, Cody Pennell leading the way for the Blue Oval Mustangs. This is the second time I'm going to mention this, and if it happens, I want it noted that I called this. Tristan Catania continues playing with the yellow line, and it's going to bite him. Matter of fact, let's ride on board with the 48, and let's see how many times he puts his wheels below the yellow line. Well, if they don't wreck. Watch this. Well, that's Cody Pennell. That's not going to do us any good. Here's Tristan Catania. He scrubs off speed. The driver behind him has to react, and now you see the inside line of those 8 Fords has now collapsed. Nobody to push the 48. And all the way from Nassau in the Bahamas, Elrich George leads this race. And now he doesn't, because this is Daytona, and that's how it works. John Smeal to the front again. He's got help. And now Dale Markowski decides to join. .22 laps to go at the World Center of Racing. John Smeal, Cody Pennell leading round number 1 of the ARC's Race of Champions. Nicholas Pressey in that number 94 from Brooklyn, New York, trying to get further ahead in this race, but still plenty of time. There could be another caution. Really, it is about survival all the way to the end of this race. He did just put in the race's fastest lap, 48.3 seconds. John Smeal ahead with a bumper full of Elrich George. Let's ride on board. Thomas Andrews now goes purple, 48.15. He puts in the fastest lap of the race so far. Elrich George still at the front, 2:0 to go, and then it's 1:9 at the line. If you just tuned in, you have not missed a thing. One crash earlier in this race, and hopefully we don't miss any events happening, but check this out here on lap 20. Donald Ray, Thomas Andrews, Josh Gaiman, James Kerr III, all involved in that lap 20 wreck. We restarted on lap 23. They go 3 wide for the lead. How about the pride of nearby Jacksonville, Florida? Talk about a guy who knows how to come out of the swamp. The Georgia Bulldogs fan from Jacksonville, Ryan Pennell. I say the swamp, Gainesville's nearby, but he's a native of Jacksonville, pretty close to Daytona Beach. And he now leads in his Georgia Bulldog Red number 12 Ford Mustang. Jeremy Brio behind him in the 7-4. John Smeal in the 13. Tristan Catania behind them all. Every one of these drivers with a chance to win. And at the end of 6 races, $200 for the AROC 4 champion. Up 12 places from where he started. Car number 12 leads at Daytona. The 1-2 now with help from the 4-0. 3 Mustangs at the front of this race. Jeremy Brio trying to get some sort of draft on the outside. Who's he got help from? It's going to be Thomas Andrews in that number 2. 13 of Smeal to the inside. We've got 17 laps to go at Daytona International and money on the line. Brio leads briefly. Lights flashing along the wall. Drivers trying to find a dance partner. Dale Markowski asks, who wants to dance with me? And Cody Pennell. He quotes the great Whitney Houston and he says, I want to dance with somebody. They need a partner. They need someone to draft with. 16 to go this time by. Look at them shuffle. You expect them to wreck almost any time, but they're holding it together bravely. $25 to 30 laps maximum is what these guys can do on a fuel run. They last pitted on lap 21. They restarted approximately lap 23. That's not enough to get to the end. If we go green all the way, they will need to pit inside the final 10 laps. With the way that they're racing, I don't think that we're going to make it the final 10 laps, but anything's possible. Genuinely, anything is possible. I mean, we put V8 supercars on the racetrack here, and we've got 15 laps to go. This is going to be pretty sweet. Finally got those numbers to where I wanted them. That right there, courtesy of Dustin Painter. It didn't occur to me to put the colors on the pylon. I gotta give it up to my man Dustin Painter. Shout out to Painter from the great state of North Carolina. He goes, why not put the colors on the pylon? And I'm thinking, well, of course, why not? So I'm fumbling around with the controls for the last, what is it, 15 laps, trying to figure out how in the hell do I get the colors on the pylon, and I finally got it. Shout out Dustin Painter, my man. I miss that dude greatly. I can't wait to see him at our next race. John Smeal leading this race. Car number 13 will have Lucky. Number 13 laps to go next time by. Will he survive until then? Look at the contact. Cody Pennell really bump drafting with that 1-3. The sun's not even down, and these guys are already getting up to a lot of heavy foreplay. These guys got to wait a little bit. Look at this. Ryan Pennell well below that yellow line. Somebody's going to flip. Somebody is going to go upside down. 3 wide into turn number 3. Cody Pennell says, I'll do it the hard way around the outside. 7-4 of Jeremy Brio leads the charge on the inside. Are they even going to survive into turn number 1? Put your bets in now. Lucky number 13 laps to go. Cody Pennell's not even pointing straight anymore. 3 wide, almost 2 rows deep. And if you just tuned in, this is the best part. Let's ride on board and at least get some of this racing while we can before one of these cars goes upside down. Well, and I literally spoke way too soon. Josh Gaiman, Jimmy Kerr. Dale Markowski is going to avoid all of that, and we're going to have a caution with 13 to go, and we're going to restart inside the final 10. Let's go on board with Jimmy Kerr III. Oh, this is on lap number 20. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Kerr also crashed on lap 37. That's unlucky. Looks like it started with Elridge George in the 40. And Kerr just noticed way too late. Let's go on board with the 4-0. And that right there just, you know there's contact from behind. Or was there? Let's see what happened. Oh, the 4-8 of Tristan Catania from the top rope. Nowhere. You saw Jimmy thought he was going to go left, and then he saw the 40 come up way too late. Briley Wright puts the brakes on, and he just sneaks through. But Tristan Catania losing all sorts of control right before this wreck. And this is the lap prior. Let's see if we can go a bit further and catch up with the 48 car. You see he's well behind Cody Pennell. He's just trying to stay up front. You keep your eye on that 4-8. Let's see just how he loses control of the race car. He just comes down on the 40 of Elridge George. Loses that control. I'm not sure what that's all about, but that's really strange. And then while that's happening, keep your eye on the 13 and the 74. Some bum drafting from the 2-8 of Cody Pennell. He gets into the 74, Jeremy Brio. Looks like he gets turned around. Ryan Pennell gets collected in that 2. And drivers get turned around, so John Smeal now at the front of this race. Cody Pennell behind him. Oh, and that is not what I'm after. What have I done? All right, let's see if we can get this fixed. There we go. How about that? The Bahama Bullet. Talking about Elridge George. He has so many names. They call him the Bahama Bullet, the Clearwater Assassin, Boss, our friend from Nassau. He's going to restart in 10th. John Smeal's at the front of this race, just ahead of Cody Pennell. Let's see if we can bug John Smeal for a quick word, just how his race is going. John Smeal, Rick James up top. You got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
You're going to be leading this race inside the final 10 laps. Cody Pennell's going to be restarting on your outside. What is the drafting like out here? This is ridiculous.
Well, it's less the drafting and more the side draft because I got left out to dry and was able to just side draft and get a hell of a run to get by 3 cars at that point. So the draft isn't much. It's the side draft that's killing these cars, but holy cow, these things are fun.
Who's going to be your favorite drafting partner towards the end of this race?
Looking in the relative, probably Cody. Cody's kind of put me in some sketchy moments, but I know he's solid at pushing, and if I can get rolling in that outside line, I think that's going to be the winning move. Is going to come from that outside line out of 4.
When the white flag comes out, where do you want to be?
The head of the outside line. Well, I guess second lane in case there's 3 at that point.
We're going to find out here. We're going to restart with 9 laps to go. We're going to let you get back to work here, Smeal. Best of luck.
Thanks.
Cody Pennell will be restarting on the outside. It's going to be, again, Fords all the way down until 6th, where Donald Ray will be sitting. Who do you got, Ford or GM? Put it in the chat. Check us out on Rick James TV, Twitter as well, and shout out to the folks at Drip Diecast and Collectibles on eBay and Facebook. Your #1 eBay and Facebook store for any sorts of NASCAR and sports memorabilia. Drip Diecast and Collectibles on eBay and Facebook. The supercars are at iRacing's Daytona Oval with 9 laps to go. Ford versus GM in the first round of the 6th race AROC 4 Series. We're going to be racing again next week at Watkins Glen International, 8:30 Eastern. John Smeal with control green. Flag is out. Let's go racing. Steven Oberstadt thinks John Smeal is getting turned. Let's see what happens here. 8 laps to go. That's a long distance. We're talking about what, 20 miles? Oh, look at this. Look at the draft from Jeremy Brio. He has figured this out. That's one thing you're about to see. This is going to be crucial. The slingshot here is unbelievable. Chat, if you've seen this race before, watch these slingshot drafts. They're going to be out of this world. Jeremy Brio just proved it right there. What a move. That's going to be the kind of move that's going to win this race. Fewer than 20 miles remain. The ARC's Race of Champions with the V8 Supercars. This week, Daytona. Next week, Watkins Glen. Week number 3, Bristol. Then it's Michigan, the Indianapolis Oval, and the season final at Laguna Seca. When the checkered flag flies at Laguna Seca, one of the drivers you see on this screen will win $200. Davy Jones did the math for us earlier as Dale Markowski moves to the outside. 3 wide for the lead, all Fords at the front. Donald Ray carrying the flag for General Motors in his Holden Commodore. Let me know in the chat, Ford or GM, who do you got? Who do you want to win this race? Davy Jones says, let me in. I want to race Laguna Seca. Look at it. Jeremy Brio was just, he was sideways. He was genuinely sideways out of turn number 2. And the downforce pushing the back of that Mustang onto the road. I wish we had I really wish we had another 15 laps of this race. 6 more laps is not enough. I need more of this racing. We're going to be at the Michigan Oval in 3 weeks' time. That's going to be awesome. And the slingshots at the Indianapolis Oval, also crazy. We should have run these at Talladega as well. We'll see what happens. We got fewer than 6 laps remaining. And we got 3 green-white checkers, by the way, to settle this. We'll see what happens. Will they make it out of turn 2? And Cool Dog just followed. Welcome to Rick James TV. Hope you're enjoying the race. I know this is just iRacing, but I'm kind of nervous. To the 1,000th of a second, there's the race for the lead. Less than a 10th. John Smeal. Look at the contact here. Tristan Catania out of control again. He's playing with the yellow line. It wouldn't be the first time he's made some contact tonight. He is struggling to hold on to that race car. Steven Oberstadt talking about cooking up a sport ender. Yeah, with 12 cars, we'll see what happens here. 4 laps to go. Donald Ray has a chance to win it for General Motors. Race 1 in AROC 4. And there's still 4 more laps to go. Three wide, 2 rows deep. They're not going to survive this. This is unbelievable. Donald Ray with the push of the century. He's trying to get Smeal to go further. How about the Markowski-Pressey combo on the outside? Mr. Where did he come from? I was talking to Nick Pressey. Here they go. Here they go. Here they go. Pressey's in the wall. Somebody's lost a wheel. Dale Markowski's at the front of this race. We're still green. Still green. Caution finally comes out, and we will have a green, white, checkered finish to decide the winner of round number 1 in AROC 4. Dale Markowski will have control of the field when we go back to green. Let's see what happened. Smeal gets turned. The 28 of Cody Pennell's involved. I hate it for Nick Pressey. I was just talking to Nick, and I was saying it's about survival. This afternoon, you know, he let me know he was ready to race, and I told him, remember, it's about surviving until the end. And he made the right move. Nick Pressey did everything right up until this point. Watch this. He just got caught up. Now, if he's got a fast repair left, he's still in this. But let's break this down. Let's go higher. Somebody lost control here. John Smeal looks like he just lost control again, and it's not the first time. Remember in that last crash there, John Smeal got into Jeremy Brio. This was after, let's see. No, this isn't the crash where they were involved, but Smeal wasn't involved in this one, but watch here. You're going to see John Smeal lose control. Let's go to the blimp. Keep your eye on the magenta car out front. Oh, there's the bump. Just a big bump from Donald Ray. Smeal could not hang on. Look at Ryan Pennell almost getting swallowed up in that. Nick Pressey just couldn't avoid anything there. Smeal gets turned around. Gaiman makes it through, and a lot of these drivers have some heavy scratches. So Dale Markowski will have control of the field. When we go back to green, fans at home are going to take one more break. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be 30 seconds, I promise you. 30-second break and we'll be back. Plenty of time to grab a drink and a snack. It is our first of 3 green-white checkered restarts. Round 1 of AROC 4. We'll be back in just 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. This is about to be the realest thing I've ever said on any race I've ever done. I love these race cars. They sound amazing, and I love this race. But I'm really, really excited for this race to be over because there's a raspberry cheese Danish in my fridge that I'm really excited to eat. And I can't wait for this race to be over so I can tear into that Danish. That being said, this race is unbelievable. These race cars are unbelievable, and we get 3 more attempts to end this one under green. So let's bother Dale Markowski and see what he's thinking before this restart. DM, Rick James up top. You got me?
Hello?
Hello? Dale, it's Rick. Can you hear me? Dale.
Rick,
And we're going to let Dale go back to the rest of the chat there. So Dale's unavailable. Let's talk to Ryan Pennell, who's right beside him. And let's see if Ryan's got a chance to win this one. Ryan Pennell, Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Somebody whose mic works. Praise the Lord. We got a chance to win this one?
Oh, yeah. I got a shot. I got my teammate and good buddy boss behind me. So he told me he's going to try and push me. So we're going to see what we can do out here.
Ford has never won this championship despite outnumbering GM. Is this the year?
Absolutely. It's the year. I'm going to be here every Thursday. We're going to do what we can to get this championship and win a little bit of money.
Best of luck, buddy.
Thanks.
Pennell will go to work for the Blue Oval, representing General Motors in the Holden Commodore from the Bluegrass State in the Blue GM. Briley Wright restarting on the outside. You've got Donald Ray, who's restarting right in the back behind Thomas Andrews. What a jump by Ray. What a restart by Markowski. Green flag is out, and he is about to regret that. Dale is really going to regret that move, I promise you. The cousins not linked up yet. Ryan Pennell from Jacksonville. Cody Pennell from Good Hope. Will they get linked together? Remember when I told you about Dale Markowski wouldn't like that move? Yeah, that's why. And Moldy Muskrat puts it in the chat. He's a sitting duck. But now Dale actually could be in the catbird seat. He's second in line on the outside. Wait for him to make that slingshot. If we get to the white flag, it's a race. And if they don't crash now, well, there's... Oh, they've got to throw that yellow, and they do throw the yellow before they get to the line. Jeremy Brio beats Dale Markowski to the line, and Jeremy will be in control And I'm kind of disappointed because now I have to wait to eat my raspberry cheese Danish, but that's really, really good racing. Holler if you hear me. I'm not the only one that could be really excited about to eat a dessert, right? Jeremy Brio leads this race. Jeremy Brio actually won the first season of AROC. I was looking at the points earlier. Jeremy Brio won AROC 1. Aiden Norman won AROC 2 and 3. Dale Markowski in that double 3. He sits in second. Davy Jones excited about a blueberry sausage biscuit from Bojangles. That actually sounds really good. You know what? While we're under caution, take a moment to throw out your favorite desserts in the chat because I'm Can I throw up a banner that says dessert chat or something like that? Here, is there a dessert related emoji? There's what? All right, the emotes on Twitch chat are pitiful. I gotta go to my phone. But anyway, we're gonna have a green-white checkered restart here. Jeremy Brio coming down into the pits. Dale Markowski sits behind him. Tristan Catania rolling in that third position. John Smeal restarting in fourth if he chooses not to come down into the pits. Dale Markowski has not pitted since lap 21. I don't believe Dale has the fuel to finish this race. I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again. I don't think Dale has what it takes to finish this race fuel-wise. Let's go back and see what brought out this most recent caution here. This is on lap 52 of the scheduled 50. Well, okay, Nick Pressey is missing half a race car. Let's go back and see what we can do here. And Nick just staying stationary. And, okay, let's run this back here because Nick Pressey got some help. He did not just turn and hit the wall on his own. Was it a blink from Pressey? Have a look. Oh, a huge blink from Nick Pressey. Dale Markowski, nowhere to go, and you can see that the cars just meshed with each other. Ryan Pennell, he gets caught up in that one as well. Or was it Jeremy Brio that... You know what? I said Dale Markowski would have the lead. I was wrong. It was Jeremy Brio that was leading this race when the caution came out. And that's just unfortunate because, again, Nick in a position where he did absolutely nothing wrong. Just a big blink, but Dale also doing nothing wrong. Just nothing that he could do. Watch this. Keep your eyes on that green car. And then keep your eyes on the red car beneath him. And then Ryan Pennell just collateral damage because of that. The 40 of Elridge George, the 13 of John Smeal. All making some contact there. And Ryan not getting too much damage in his Mustang. He might just be okay. So we're going to go to green-white checker number 2. Jeremy Brio sits ahead of DM Dale Markowski. Tristan Catania sits in third. So let's see if we can have a quick word with the Massachusetts pilot. Jeremy Brio, Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
Gotcha, Rick.
Well, you're up next to lead this race in our second of 3 green-white checkers. Dale Markowski got the restart of the century and then overlapped immediately, but he's still in this race. Are you looking to also get a huge jump?
No, because I think that's going to screw me on the end. I think the only reason it worked for him is because nobody else went on the restart, and he also can't make it here, as he was just telling me. So he's only got 2 laps of fuel. I've got 9, so he's probably going to run out here, and if he doesn't, that's going to be a miracle.
I was saying the same thing. I saw he pitted on lap 21. John Smeal is literally pushing Dale Markowski. I don't know if Dale Markowski has the fuel to make this restart. We're going to find out real quick. In any case, who's going to be your drafting buddy to the end? You got your purple friend behind you, Tristan Catania.
Nobody. Nobody's going to work with me. Nobody's going to do anything with me. As soon as I get a little bit of a gap to anybody, they're not going to push me. So it's every man for themselves, and hopefully I can get a 90-mile-an-hour run like I got one of those other restarts and plow right by him again once I get past here. All right, thanks, Rick.
let me know who you got in the chat. We were talking about desserts earlier, and Davy Jones in the chat saying, Rick, can't hear you. Yeah, I think I just realized I muted myself. That's my fault. I apologize. It wouldn't be a Rick James TV stream if we didn't, if something didn't go wrong. But that's okay. We're having fun. I hope you're having fun, too. Thank you so much for tuning in, by the way. If you're watching this, listening to this in the background, whatever. If you're participating in some way, thank you. I appreciate this. We genuinely can't do it without you. And we're glad that you're enjoying the racing and you're enjoying our nonsensical chat about racing and donuts and whatever else we can get our minds on. But we've got 5 miles to finish round number 1. Jeremy Brio takes the green flag and everybody stays nice and bunched together. I bet you they won't stay that way. 2 laps to go. The monochromatic duo of Cody Pennell and Elridge George. Also, and there's a crash again. John Smeal's in the wall. Thomas Andrews is involved, and that is our second green-white checkered. That brings out a yellow, so that means we get one more chance to do it. Briley Wright gets involved in that one, and I think Donald Ray is... Well, I was going to say Donald Ray's the only General Motors entry in this race without damage, but... Well, now that falls to Thomas Andrews. And he might even have a scratch or two. So, did they even make it out of turn number 2? Let's just see what happened here on the restart. John Smeal pushing the absolute dog food out of Dale Markowski going into turn number 1. We'll see how this ends up. Smeal with another push to the double 3. He gets Briley Wright also trying to go on the outside. Let's run that back and have a look. I think Smeal checked up. Briley may not have. Watch this. And you can see the draft there. Can we run that back one more time? Briley Wright gets an unbelievable draft. And that's just the hole that these cars punch in the air. The blue car on the right. Briley Wright. Huge draft on John Smeal, and he's doing what he needs to do with 2 laps to go. Smeal just gets a little held up trying to push the double 3 of Dale Markowski. He loses control. He collects Briley. He collects Donald Ray. And somebody just posted in the chat about something more exciting than the Cup race last Sunday, and I appreciate that. Thank you. That's pretty cool to hear. Sarcasm or not, that's pretty dope. Thank you so much. We're gonna have 5 miles remaining again, and it's going to be the last time we restart this race, regardless of what happens. If they wreck, we'll see if they make it to the end. We'll see just who survives. Jeremy Brio will have control of the field. Tristan Catania will be starting in the 2nd position. And we're going to take one final break here. We'll be back in 60 seconds. So if you haven't yet grabbed yourself a drink and a snack, there's nothing that goes better with iRacing than a drink and a snack. So grab your snack, grab your drink. I'm going to meet you back here in 60 seconds for 2 more laps at Daytona. You're going to want to see this. I'm going to watch this with pleasure. I hope you will too. We'll see you in 60. one more time, we got to give it up to the people who support us. Talking about the good folks over at Drip Diecast and Collectibles. They support us all through Thursday Night Thunder, and they support us through the ARC's Race of Champions as well. If you haven't heard about Drip Diecast, they are an awesome online store on eBay and Facebook. They sell a ton of sports memorabilia and a lot more, but they specialize in racing memorabilia. I say NASCAR a lot, but it really is more than just NASCAR. They specialize in all sorts of racing memorabilia and sports memorabilia as well, and even more. Just think of it as an awesome just online eBay and Facebook store with almost anything you can imagine, but especially a lot of racing memorabilia. So die casts, any sort of gifts that you would love, anybody that you know that loves racing would enjoy. Check them out. Drip Diecasts and Collectibles on eBay and Facebook, your #1 online store for any sort of racing memorabilia. They support us, and we want to support them back. So thank you so much for checking them out, and thank you for being here as well. This is a silly little game of ours, this iRacing, but I love it. The guys on the racetrack love it, and we're glad that you're here enjoying this with us too. So Ford versus GM, this is our 4th time doing this. This is our 4th summer, spending 6 weeks just throwing these supercars around the racetrack because we can, places where they never would go. I think this is actually the first season that we aren't featuring an Australian track. We've done Mount Panorama. We've done Oran Park. I'm pretty sure we haven't done Phillip Island, but maybe we should do that in AROC 5. I'm not sure. But we got some racing. We're not done here. This is our final green-white checkered attempt. 5 miles, 2 laps to decide it. Jeremy Brio with control of the field. Cody Pennell behind him. Ford's down until 5th position. Green flag is out. It's a race no matter what. There they go making contact. Is that the 74 of Brio passing under the yellow line? They're not going 4 wide. Look at John Smeal pushing the 48 of Catania. He's pushed too hard before. Will he push too hard again? 74 leading the charge. There goes the 33. Smeal is still in it. 74 of Brio leading this race. Not anymore. Now is he still? Yes, he is. John Smeal is in it. Brio's done. Smeal still leads. And by himself, John Smeal still at the front. Thomas Andrews, the only guy who can stop him. Does he have enough draft? Smeal has to play defense. Andrews has enough juice to get around the 13. Smeal throws the block. Andrews to the inside. Smeal once again, they make huge contact. Smeal's in the wall, and at the line, it is John Smeal beating Thomas Andrews in the first round of AROC 4. Unofficially 17 100ths of a second, or 17 1,000ths. I can't count. John Smeal beating Thomas Andrews to the line. What a finish for that one. We got to check this white flag out one more time. This was just chaos. And let's go to the sky. So Jeremy Brio pushed below that yellow line. Smeal just continues to push. Almost goes 4 wide here. And the 33 just goes up on the 48 and he makes heavy contact. 28 and 74, nowhere to go. John Smeal drives through them. Elrich George, what in the world is Elrich George doing here? Can we just... He just comes up out of absolutely nowhere into Jeremy Brio. I have no idea what's going on here. Ryan Pennell gets collected by Josh Gaiman. Can we look at this as well? They're just both trying to avoid the accident. Thomas Andrews, this is where it gets interesting. Watch this to the line here. Andrews has enough draft to make it. Smeal throws a huge block. Andrews goes down. Smeal goes right down, and he just forces the contact on the two. And you tell me, give me your opinion there. Watch this one more time. Andrews makes his move on the outside, and Smeal will go all the way down to the yellow line and pin Andrews. And unofficially, Smeal in the Ford beats Thomas Andrews in the Holden. And there he is, resting in the middle of the grass. So we're going to get our top three unofficially. John Smeal, Thomas Andrews, Josh Gaiman. We'll have our podium in just a moment. On the podium with our top three, starting with our bronze medalist, the driver of the 61 rose-colored machine, Josh Gaiman. Josh, if you could even describe that last lap, how was it? And you ended up finishing in third after collecting Ryan Pennell on the backstretch.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess the wheel came off there after we made contact, but yeah, I was the lead lap car, so I figured, I'd just take the hole, and he kind of came out of nowhere on me. I couldn't see out to my left there, and I just didn't see him coming, and was just had a big head of steam on the front too, so I just stayed in it.
And it ended up netting you a third place finish. So we'll end up seeing you at Watkins Glen next week. Congratulations on bronze.
Thank you.
The pride of Jersey, Thomas Andrews, coming home with a silver medal. Tommy, your thoughts on the last lap? And Thomas Andrews, you still with us?
You got a copy?
Hey, I got you, buddy. How'd that last lap go?
The last lap was kind of wild. I mean, us coming out of on the backstretch, it was just every man for themselves there, and I think Cody kind of got turned off my nose there. And then it was just I had a huge run going into three and made the move, and then kind of just got turned there coming out of four. And I mean, if I wanted to, I could have just ran right through him and wrecked him, but I wasn't going to do that. So I guess I made a clean pass pretty much and just got completely cleaned out there. So it's all right. We'll go to the next race. Just know how people race me, so it is what it is.
We'll see you in a week's time at the Glen. And with tonight's race winner, John Smeal in the 13 Magenta Ford, you win the race for the Blue Oval. 2 Blue Ovals on the podium tonight, and you will have the points lead headed into next week's race at Watkins Glen. How was that last lap for you?
Oh, it was insanity. I thought for sure with that last wreck to cause the green white checker that I was out of it, and the cards fell the way that they did. Um, I do kind of feel bad for Andrews. The heat of the moment on that last lap, forgetting that I'm on the right side of the car when I came down and doored him pretty good. Um, so it was a good race. It was a drag race. I've been out front for a good chunk of the race, so just glad for it. The things to fall our way. No, it's not necessarily the way that want to win races, but at the end of the day, a win is a win.
We'll see what happens in a week's time. For now, you've got the first W of AROC 4, and next week at Watkins Glen. Can you go 2 in a row?
Road courses are not my strong suit, so my goal is just to keep it on the pavement next week.
We'll see what happens in a week's time. Congratulations on the win.
Yep, thanks, man.
Fans at home, another opening race of AROC is in the books, and this time 17/1000th of a second is the difference at the line. John Smeal, with a little bit of contact, gets Thomas Andrews to the line. Joshua Gaiman finishes with a bronze medal, and next week the party continues at the Glen. The V8 Supercars at Watkins Glen. That bus stop is going to be chaos. The whole race is going to be amazing, and we hope you're going to tune in. Thank you so much, and until that next race, everybody please stay safe.